Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified Podcast, your home for all things Washington Commanders. Find the subscribe button. Do it now. Make it happen. We are back with the special edition podcast. If you can see behind me, there is RFK Stadium, which is now potentially back in play as a stadium location for your Washington Commanders. Brian, why don't you tell us why RFK is now back in play?
It's back in play because there is news that Dan Snyder is selling the football team, the Commanders. He is selling this franchise, something that a lot of fans have been clamoring for decades now. And it looks like we are probably almost at that point where he's going to sell. Eric wrote up an awesome article earlier this week. Dan Snyder has engaged Bank of America's securities division to go out and get offers for the football team. So that is why RFK is back in play. And that is why everything is possible right now with this franchise because of this news.
Eric, initial reaction to the news that the team might be sold.
Well, it dropped on November 2nd, which happens to be my birthday. So happy birthday, Eric.
Yes,
That was the first thing. I think I tweeted that 100 times, and I told you guys, yeah, I was really excited. It really vaulted me into my top 3 birthdays probably ever, including the day I was actually born. Heard that sucked. I don't know. No, it was hard to believe. Actually, I got a text from a friend of mine who just sent me the link to this article, and I'm like, it was the sports. What was the Forbes, yeah. And I'm like, I click on it and it's paywalled, and I'm like, well, this is crap. And then I just hop on Twitter and I see it everywhere. And I'm just like, this is serious. This is awesome. Yeah. And then it comes out that it's like, oh, well, he might just be selling part of the team, blah, 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 blah. But it kind of, snowballed from there. It was just really a great week. I got very little done at my actual job because I was just reading updates on who was buying the team and all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, it was great news for me. And like I said, it took the sting out of Sunday's loss to the Vikings. For sure. Just because I'm still, I'm on that sugar high that I can't really be brought down from yet. So yeah, very excited about it.
Yeah. Sugar High was a song in that movie Empire Records, wasn't it?
Sugar Buzz, but good call.
It was Sugar High. It was Sugar High.
Sure, Renee's no longer
sang it. You can
go.
Anyway,
we are going to go watch Empire Records together.
We will.
We're going to watch it on Rex Manning Day. That's right about the time that the team's going to be sold. April 8th.
All right. So, Brian, do you care who buys the team?
No, I really don't. We have been through a lot here with this team and with this owner. I mean, some implausible things have happened to us here while Snyder has owned this team. It is no short of a telenovela, some of the wild things that we've had to witness with how this team has been run. So I'm not scared of any possible outcome. There's nothing that anyone can threaten me with or scare me with about future owners and what they could or could not do or what they might or might not do. I think we have seen some of the worst that it can be. I mean, right now, Snyder is mired in multiple investigations. I mean, what is the new guy going to do, to top that? Hopefully it's get a good head coach and a starting franchise quarterback, in my opinion. So, no, I am not concerned. Would it be awesome if it was Byron Allen and be the first African-American, owner? That would be awesome. But I have no, kind of care. I just want someone else. And I think we are as close to that eventuality as we have ever been.
And I will say this, it is Sugar High, Eric. It's Coyote Shivers was the group. Anyway, moving on.
You're wrong.
Look, I compartmentalize Dan Snyder more than I think anybody else does on this podcast, meaning it doesn't bother me. I mean, the kind of person, things that he's been associated with really do bother me. But on a day-to-day basis with the football team, I really separate those things. And so while I know Dan Snyder was a big part of the problem, I always felt like the team should have found a way to be successful in spite of that problem. But now we don't have to do that. Now we can just figure out what we want to do on the field, hopefully. I do care who buys a team because I don't want to end up in another situation right back where we were. And now there's no chance we're going to get out of that situation. And I'm not talking about all the sexual assault stuff or whatever though that was, because that needs to go and stay gone. But in the NFL, there's bad management, right, all over the place. And so we could potentially be back into a bad management situation. And I don't want that. Or an owner that's a little too hands-on. Don't want that at all. But this is hope. This represents real, legitimate hope for a lot of people in this franchise. And it's not going to immediately equate to wins, at least not on its own, but it provides the opportunity for long-term success, which we haven't had to this point. There hopefully will be no more Vinny Serratos, no more Bruce Allens, right? No more guys like that, and people that just let the football people do what they do, and then let the business people do what they do too. There are two things that has to happen, right? The team has to fix the football field product. It is not good enough, hasn't been good enough, not even close, but they also have to stabilize the business operations of the Washington Commanders so we stop having this stupid little stuff that happens, like no money being paid to somebody who wins a raffle at the stadium, or somebody getting a gift card with no money, all kind of things that just franchises that are stable don't have these problems. But this seems to plague us every single week. I can't stand it. It can no longer be tolerated. Eric, we put a poll on Twitter this week that said, what needs to change first, or what's your priority to fix? The off the field stuff or the on the field stuff? And I think you said what?
Well, the off the field stuff goes away immediately when the team is sold, because the off the field stuff is 100% rooted in the Snyders, and all the new ownership has to do is not screw up, and the off the field stuff is over. You really need to focus on the on the field product, because the off the field, you're cutting off the head of the snake off the field. And you just need to bring in somebody who can put in a stable structure and not look like a buffoon 90% of the time and just have everything he does backfire. If you could do that, the off the field stuff goes away. So 100% it's on the field. And that's why I think ownership does matter. And I'm not a huge Bezos guy. However, the combination of Bezos and is it Bezos? I don't remember. I don't know the guy. Bezos. Anyway, Bezos and Jay-Z, that's a fantastic combination, because nothing makes this team more relevant than having those two guys in charge. The wealthiest guy in the league and the magnate who's going to just be a beacon for talent to come to this team. This is the way that you turn into the Rams, what they've been able to do over the past couple of years. They got that nice brand new stadium. They got the cool head coach, all the money going out there. Of course, now they're in LA, we're in DC, so it's going to be a different vibe. But that's how you start drawing. That's how you get free agents to want to come to your team. That's how you get, that's how you draw fans. That's the way you bring the region together, is because you've got a magnet. And if you can put a stadium in the RFK site, which is the absolute best possible place you can do it, it's an ultimate win. So I think that, if that's a real thing and that's not just some garbage coming out, I think that's a great combination, just because of the fact that it makes this team so relevant to have somebody who's that big in the pop culture world and that big in the business world combine to come into DC. I think that would be a fantastic ownership group. If it's Byron Allen, if it's Robert Smith, if it's somebody, all good. I just think the best possible combination for this area would be the Bezos and Jay-Z combination. But yeah, on the field, that gets fixed when you start drawing top tier talent back to this team. You get a brand new stadium in place. Everything's coming up roses. You've got 10 years of goodwill before you have to really start winning, honestly. But I don't think it would even take that long. I think you can really just start attracting top talent with that combination in ownership.
I think one other thing too, with a new ownership group, whether it is Bezos and Jay-Z, or if it's with one of the other groups, they're coming in with money, right? They're already going to pay a big price tag for the team, but they're still going to have plenty of money for new facilities, upgrades, when they do get the eventual new stadium and surrounding area complexes, restaurants, nightclubs, all those different things that it's probably going to come with a new stadium. We are going to get upgraded from that standpoint as well too, because a lot of, some of the issues are, the facilities aren't what they are supposed to be. Practice as well too. A lot of players, that those types of things matter to players. Like, hey, you don't necessarily have the size training staff or the analytics staff or the practice facilities that some other places have. So I think all that gets upgraded instantly with a new ownership group and the influx of cash that they will have as well too, for us to compete on a even level with some of these other teams out there.
Speaking of, have you seen Amazon's facilities?
No.
Just saying. Yeah. They're pretty much top notch. They're elite. Have you seen what they're putting in just in the with the helix and everything in up in Springfield or Alexandria? It's fantastic. It's going to be that's going to be the level of stadium that you're going to get. I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah, as they say in Park, no expense spared when it comes to the level of money that Bezos has in putting out top-notch facilities.
Yeah, and the thing is with Snyder, they always talk about the no expense spared, but that was always to player salaries.
Yeah.
And you can see, I mean, the stadium's falling apart. The training facilities, as much as they upgraded, it's still way outdated.
Yep.
Yeah.
And little things like the 50-50 raffle, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that Snyder ignored. That's the kind of stuff that a new owner has to get right, like you said, Ellie. And I think somebody like a Bezos Jay-Z combo will absolutely get that stuff right.
Yeah. What do you guys think about RG3 trying to put together an ownership group?
That dude needs to go away.
Yeah.
Just go away.
Are you buying into it, though, in terms of legitimacy?
No.
He's
turning into Gilbert Arenas right in front of our eyes. He really is. Like, he's just going, I swear he's going to show up to, whatever network he works at with his underwear outside his pants one day, just swinging a squirrel. Like, he's just going, he's just in that mode where he's just trying to do and say anything to stay relevant.
Yeah.
That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is he just takes a bunch of people's money. So I don't give it any legitimacy personally, but I'm just sick of hearing that guy's name.
Yeah, I think it is really more for the soundbite. I mean, there's one thing to say something like that, but to be actually able to go out and actually get people of high wealth, high individual net wealth to give you hundreds of millions of dollars is an extremely difficult thing to do. And I just don't see RG3 as having the experience or background to be able to do that. Nor would I see, somebody of that level of wealth being like, well, let me put my money into RG3's hands in terms of putting this group together. There's other people who have actual experience putting those types of ownership groups together that are out there that would be better suited to that. So I think it's nice for him to say that, and I like the idea of it, but I don't see any of that happening.
Yeah, he said he's raised $400 million already. He's still about $6.5 billion short of what the $7 billion price tag is going to be. I saw Kevin Durant also wanting to partner in a ownership group for the Commanders. I don't give anybody credibility until you cross that $1 billion mark. At all. So I think while it would be interesting, I don't foresee them being factors in that. Now, Durant and Jay-Z have had some dealings together previously, but I think the interesting scenario with RG3, not important, interesting, is if RG3 joins the Byron Allen ownership group, right? And that $400 million that he supposedly raised, and he becomes a member of that group, then that situation gets a little more interesting. And possibly Kevin Durant as well. But I don't place a lot of weight on that right now. I think, like you guys said, maybe it's really just more for a soundbite. All right, let's finish it up like this. Eric, put on your prognostication hat. Who buys this team?
Yeah, I think it's Bezos and Jay-Z until I hear otherwise. I think if that dude wants a team, he gets a team. I don't see how anybody can outbid him. And I think that the ownership, I know Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft both like him, which is weird because they pretty much hate each other. But they've both been in support of him. I think if it's legit that he wants the team, I don't see there's any way he doesn't get the team. So he's my front runner right now.
Yeah. Now, the one cautionary thing I will say is that I think when the Broncos were up for sale, same names were attached there. It ended up being all smoke, no fire to that whatsoever. They never even offered on that. It was just speculation. But a lot of publications are picking up the Bezos thing. So maybe there's some legitimacy.
DC has been his prize. That's why. I don't think he was even remotely interested because he doesn't have any ties to Denver. He's got a lot going on in DC. So I think this has been, and he's probably been pulling the strings behind the scenes for the past couple of years with his friends at the Post.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
You said put on my genius hat, not my tinfoil hat. I apologize. I get those confused sometimes.
Yeah. Brian, what's your guess? Your prognostication for this?
Yeah, I think you certainly have to go with Bezos and Jay-Z as the front runners right now. There's another guy, Harris, who just kind of lost out on the Broncos, and then Byron Allen probably in that third spot. But until we hear something different, I think if you look at Bezos and Jay-Z, or Bezos, I'm sorry. He's got the post. He's got his new headquarters that's being built here. I think he has designs on things a little bit higher than football, and DC would be a place where he can kind of center at and do those things. So for him, this is a chess piece that he's probably going to move into place for some bigger plans that he may have. And I can absolutely see this him ending up with it. If he truly wants it, I don't see anybody who could literally, I mean, he's individually richer than all of the NFL owners that are out there. I mean, he has that level of money. He would be stepping down to hang out with the NFL owners in his stratosphere of money because he has that much. So from that standpoint, there is nothing stopping him unless he just says, you know what, I don't want to. It's a nuisance. I don't want to do it. And that's the thing that we don't know yet. There's a lot of speculation. We heard Jake Glazer today talk about that the team wants to have all this wrapped up by the March owners meetings so that everything can be ratified by March. And if that's the case, I mean, you would have to think that the Amazon owner is the front runner.
Yeah, my front runner is Byron Allen, because the NFL pursued him about the Broncos situation. We can't forget that. Roger Goodell, Robert Kraft pursued him to be an owner of the Broncos situation, and then came the Walton family. The NFL is a network-based organization, and I don't think that they have forgotten that they went after Allen, told him to get involved, and then told him no thanks because of the Broncos. I will also say that I think here's my issue with Bezos. Being an NFL owner is a full-time gig for the NFL owners, right? They still have their own businesses, but they dedicate themselves primarily to the owners, to the ownership of their team, all the owners meetings that go on, all the different things. I wonder if Bezos would subject himself to all the day-to-day things that come along with being an owner, because this doesn't really add to his profile in terms of value. I mean, to us, the possibility of his $7 billion investment becoming $10 billion in 10 years sounds like a lot, but to Bezos, he farts out $10 billion, you know what I mean? Like every other day. So it's not, I don't know what the incentive is for Bezos. I'll put it that way, because it's not financial. There's just not enough there to really move the needle for him. But unless he just really wants to be in this business. For Jay-Z, I get it. It builds his brand. I think he's worth somewhere between 1.5, 2 billion. So being a part of something this big is really good for his profile look. Although I would probably say that I don't know. Jay-Z probably sells his share of the team at some point in time to move on to bigger and better things. But I don't know. I just don't see the incentive for Bezos. That's what's keeping me from putting him at number one on the spot. And I think Byron Allen has everything to gain by this. And he has an office in this area. I know he has some heavy ties to this area. So I see that happening personally. I can't guarantee it, but that's my prognostication. I would be happy with anybody that we talked about today, quite honestly, just because of what they could do for this franchise. Where Bezos, you guys hit it on the head, the money that he could invest into the community, into the franchise, into the stadium situation, into everything would be unmatched. With Allen, it's the culture, it's the story that he brings with him, it's the dedication I think he would bring to this environment. And he is a savvy businessman. He started as a comedian. He was an actor. He's done some things like that, and then worked his way up to this amount of wealth. And I think he would bring that same mentality to the football field. So look, everything is good. Everything is to the positive with this situation. So I'm looking forward to it, whatever comes out of this. All right. Brian, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Bezos is worth $114 billion as of 2022. That's a lot. He can vastly change the fortunes of this team if he sells it. But like you said, honestly, it doesn't matter. Any of these candidates that are going to buy is going to be vastly better, and they will experience a lot of goodwill because they won't be Snyder. So, from that standpoint, they'll get a clean slate. They'll get opportunities like RFK being back into play and the ability to really kind of turn this thing around and give it the real, kind of fresh start that we all need.
Absolutely. Eric, final thoughts?
We, in addition to getting a new owner, I really want this town to become a destination.
Yes.
That players want to be part of. And I think this new ownership group, any one of these has the potential to make that happen. So I just can't wait for this all to go down.
Yeah.
Although we're probably going to have to suffer through another year of Ron and Carson. We'll worry about that next year.
Absolutely. By the way, somehow Byron Allen doubled his net worth to $800 million from February to November. Interesting. But anyway, it's a good thing. That's all I can say. And you don't have to choose sides between owners, potential owners at this point. Let's not turn this into one of those things, okay? Where it's Heineke versus Wentz or how. This doesn't have to be that. This is all good. No matter who wins this race, it's all good. Let's just stay on the positive side of it, keep our hopes up, and see this thing through. If you have not already, please take a moment to subscribe. Go visit commanders247.com. And check out for all of our content. We are everywhere you can get content at. We appreciate you. We are out of here. Go Command. Oh, wait. One final question. Eric, are they going to rebrand after the new owner comes in town?
No, I highly doubt it. They're going to spend all that money, and then they're going to have to dump money into a stadium, and then to dump money into a rebrand that's already happened that just really isn't even that bad. Like, I don't know why people hate Commanders so much. It's honestly, in the grand scheme of things, no dumber than Red Wolves. Let's be honest. So no, I don't think so. I just think the investment isn't worth the payout. I mean, you're not going to get a return on that investment, in my opinion. So I don't think it's in the cards, but who knows?
Yeah. And you don't know how bad the books are inside the building in Ashburn. So they're going to have to deal with that too. Sort of like Elon Musk buying Twitter and then figure it out. Oh my God, there's so much debt here. Anyway, now we are officially out of here. We will be back soon. Later.